Hi guys! So this time I do not have my webcam on, I'm just recording the screen because I couldn't get it to record the webcam without covering up the presentation. So anywho, I'm excited to share this information with you guys about habit formation because we have probably all had the experience of trying to start a new habit or work toward a goal, but then fizzling out after a while. And that is totally normal. So today I want to give you some principles, 6 key principles that will help you be more successful. First, I just want to explain habits are simply behaviors that we repeat. Some habits are really good, some habits are not so good or healthy, but we can use habits to achieve our goals. You see here this idea of like all these habits are working toward a goal. All right, here's another illustration another example to illustrate it. If your goal was to lose 10 pounds, which just so you know, we're going to be focusing on academic goals, then what habits would help you reach that goal? The habit of 30 minutes of exercise daily, the habit of no carbs, which I won't even get into that, but okay, the habit of drinking 8 glasses of water a day. So different habits, things that you do not just once, but things that you do routinely, repeatedly to work toward a goal. I love this quote by Charles Duhigg, who has written a book called The Power of Habit. He says, "The difference between who you are and who you want to be is what you do." Just think about that. It's speaking to the power of our actions and the idea that if we align our actions with what we want, then our lives will be more fulfilling. Okay, principle 1 for building habits that actually stick. The principle is to focus on the internal outcome, your feelings, the why. Why do you want to accomplish your goal? How will you feel when you do? Will you feel proud, joyful, confident? Really focus on that feeling because research into motivation demonstrates that we are more motivated by our internal desires than we are by external measures or rewards. Principle 2. Add your new habit to an existing cue. A cue is something that is reliable. It's something that's going to happen. So you can add your habit to that. Here's some examples. After I sit down at my desk, so that's the cue. I sit down at the place where I study. Then what's the new habit? I will put my phone on Do Not Disturb and neatly arrange my class materials. After I launch Canvas, that's something you're going to do. So that's the cue. And then here's the new habit. After I complete any assignment, here's the new habit. When I get stuck or frustrated, that's going to happen sometimes, right? And the new habit is, instead of giving up, I will talk about it with my mom or a friend. Okay? Great. Principle 3, start small, even smaller. Here are some examples. Floss 1 tooth. If flossing your whole mouth is overwhelming, floss 1 tooth. Do just 2 push-ups and do them against the wall. Start really, really small. Work on your assignment for just 5 minutes. We talked about this back when we talked about overcoming procrastination, that if you just start for 5 minutes on something that feels daunting, something like 80 or 85% of people will continue even after the 5 minutes. But telling yourself, okay, I'm not sitting down to work on this for 2 hours, I'm sitting down to work on it for 5 minutes, is making it smaller so that you can actually do it. Or read 1 page. Just read 1 page of your assignment and then see where you are. The reason for that is that small is sustainable. If you try to start big, if you try to start with 30 push-ups every day or working on your assignments for 2 hours straight, it probably won't stick. You'll give up and you'll feel lousy. Principle 4 is to celebrate every time. Here's why. Emotions are what create habits. We continue to do things that feel good, even if they aren't good for us. There's a ton of research around this, specifically related to things like video games, social media, ice cream, but it all has to do with the dopamine hit we get. Dopamine is like the feel-good hormone, and we get a hit of that when we do these things that feel good. So we keep doing them. And we avoid things that don't feel good, even if they would be good for us. So we want to make the things that we're trying to do, the habits, we want to make them feel good. And the way we can do that is by celebrating. Even the tiniest behavior, even the flossing the one tooth, okay? Here are some examples of how you can celebrate. After you do the thing you're trying to do, you can simply smile. Give yourself a big smile. It's amazing how good it feels just to smile. You can high five yourself. You can say something like victory or that felt awesome, but you pick something, some form of celebration to help your brain lock it in. Now, if we put these things together, we have the cue after I launch Canvas, complete an assignment, whatever. I will, here's the tiny behavior or new habit you're working on. And then I celebrate. It can be, like I said, a high five, just putting 2 thumbs up or saying something to yourself. Okay, that's it. Cue, behavior, and celebration. Here's an example. After I sit down at work, I will turn off notifications for social media. To wire the habit into my brain, I will immediately smile or say good choice or do some form of celebration. Okay? All right. Principle 5, use accountability to your advantage. If you think about programs that are really about changing or implementing habits, like Weight Watchers, the habit of what you eat, Alcoholics Anonymous, the habit of breaking free from drinking alcohol. One of the reasons these programs are so successful is that there's a community of support. People are not doing it alone. Accountability is helpful. So here are some examples. I will tell my teacher that I will attend her office hours because then she's going to be expecting you, and that kind of holds you accountable. I will study on Thursdays with my friend. I will update now, let me go back to that one. If you're going to study with a friend, try to actually get something done, right? Pick a friend who is going to help you and not distract you with your schoolwork. All right, I will update my parents on my day's work at 3 p.m. So that's accountability. You have to show them what you did or didn't do. When I feel myself tempted to slack off, I will text or call and then put the name of the person you might do that with. One thing I forgot to put on here, I just want to mention right now, is that research in education has shown that something called progress monitoring is also really effective. And that is where you make yourself a simple chart and you give yourself a check mark every time you do it. And it feels good to see that you have been doing what you said you would do. That is another form of accountability. It's just that it's just between you and yourself. So it may or may not be effective depending on you. Okay, last one. Believe. I love this quote by Henry Ford. Whether you think you can or can't, whether you think you can or think you can't, you're right. Here are a couple of ways to work on your belief in yourself. Affirm yourself. Affirm means to say positive things. So take a moment to remind yourself. That could be saying something out loud. You could be writing something on a Post-it, in your journal, whatever. You could just be silently saying something in your head, but actually do it. Remind yourself of your strengths and that you are capable of accomplishing the building of new habits to reach your goals. You are capable. Say it to yourself. Secondly, visualize how it'll feel. I'm amazed at how powerful this is. Take a moment before you start your schoolwork. Take a moment in the morning to picture yourself doing the habit and how good it will feel when you do it. It is really amazing how effective that can be. Okay, so now the assignment from this lesson is to tell me which of these 6 principles you think will be most effective for you.